are several uniting factors that hold together the diverse, vibrant and almost vivid fabric that we call Bharat. That being said, one such aspect is undeniably the Indian Railways. Today, our grandparents, children, friends, teachers and sometimes even great-grandparents can sit down and recount a tale from their train experiences. Interestingly, that is true for all corners of our wonderful nation. That makes it at least 1.3 billion stories, not to mention those that are made with tourists and travelers visiting India. It is not the thousands of kilometers of tracks, but these stories that define our railways. The reason why it truly is the lifeline to the nation. In addition to our informative content, let us today relive some of our fond train memories. We'd love to know your stories as well. Namaste and welcome to New India Junction. I'm Nivedita Tiwari and today I too am a fellow passenger on India's development journey. Indian Railways, as we know it today, is made of 18 different zones across the country. However, this journey of massive reorganization had initially started with Sri Lal Bahadur Shastri as the railway minister in the early 1950s. In fact, it was Shastri ji who had presented one of the first surplus railway budgets in the parliament. Now, almost 7 decades and uncountable changes later, as Shri Piyush Goyal ji announced the successful speed trial of the new Vistadome coaches, our railway is still scaling new heights. Can one forget the excitement of boarding the Rajdhani Express from the Hazrat Nizamuddin station in New Delhi on the way to Thiruvananthapuram? One of the most scenic routes across the iconic Konkan Railway. An uneventful train journey is simply impossible. Isn't that true? You mingle with everyone, are regaled with experiences from all corners of the country. You notice how the cuisine changes as you travel southward, how the landscape becomes different, how languages change, and yet, one aspect remains the same, a sense of curiosity and a preference for new experiences. Just recently, when Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi inaugurated a section of the Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor, my mind was drawn to the times I had spent on a railway crossing, watching and counting the seemingly endless bogies of a slow-moving goods train. So much has changed in so little time. As more sections of the corridor are commissioned along with state-of-the-art management systems, there would be no more slow-moving trains and no more excessive waiting. These dedicated corridors, one to the east between Sonewal, Punjab and Dankuni, West Bengal, and another to the west between Dadri in Uttar Pradesh and JNPT in Mumbai, will be the arterial links that take on almost all of the freight and goods traffic from several zones and allow for more trains, more passengers, and more stories to run. But at the current pace of modernization, I doubt there would be the age-old clickety-clack of the tracks. Indian Railways today is so much more than a network of tracks and trains running on it. Take the pandemic, for instance. It was one of the first times in more than 1.5 centuries that the railways had ceased operations. But all we had to do was look a little more closely to realize the relentless pace of work had in fact only increased. Since March 25, when the stopping of operations was announced following the outbreak of COVID-19, Indian Railways helped media manage the pandemic better, converted 5,600 train coaches as COVID care centers, earmarked 5,000 beds across dedicated hospitals, unveiled the world's first COVID-safe coach with design improvements for a new normal, ferried 63.1 lakh migrant workers to their homes on 4,621 Shramik special trains, distributed 1.85 crore meals and 2.21 crore bottles, carried over 6.4 lakh tons of goods and 4.4 crore tons of food grains, made 5.5 lakh coveralls, 1.4 lakh liters of sanitizer and 20 lakh face masks, and completed 350 major developmental initiatives for increased speed and safety. When it comes to understanding the world's largest passenger rail network, there simply aren't enough adjectives in any language that can do the job. Take for example the Shatabdi Express to Chandigarh, a marvel in hospitality and Wi-Fi connectivity. The Shatabdi Express was actually one of the first trains in India to get the Wi-Fi facility. And today, not just trains, just under 6,000 railway stations now boast of high-speed Wi-Fi connections. There have been so many examples of India's destiny being shaped through its railways. Even our leaders share this bond. Mahatma Gandhi took a train to Champaran, leading him to realize the plight of Indians in their own country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's story as a tea seller at the Vadnagar station in Gujarat is all too familiar. That is what Indian Railways was, is, and continues to be. A definitive milestone of India's success story. Today, the railways have become a pioneering institution, with electrification moving on 4.5 times faster in the last 5 years. Projects for over 105 megawatt through solar energy and over 103 megawatt through wind energy, 100% bio-toilets, high-speed trains like the Tejas Express, Vande Bharat Express, and a first no-passenger fatality year, India and its railways are heading towards a secure and self-reliant future. Yet, even today, the excitement and the sense of adventure are still present. The never-ending stories, new friendships, and changing landscapes shall not cease to amaze. With COVID-19 vaccines being developed, it seems we may not have to wait too long to be aboard another Indian lifeline once again. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy. Dhanyavad and Namaste.